Good morning. So let's start today's current affairs topic. To start with, the first topic of the day will be regarding the air pollution in Delhi. Delhi has become very much polluted. Life is becoming unbearable there. So this is going on for some last few years. So many steps have been taken to check it, but result is not that forthcoming. So here the topic is how far back does Delhi's air pollution problem go? What policy measures have been taken over the decades by the Union government and the state government of Delhi? What are the major pollutants contributing to the increase suspended particulate matter 2.5 levels in the capital? Have the measures taken by the state been effective? We'll discuss all these points in today's discussion. Okay. So to start with, the first thing that we'll deal. So when this became a problem for Delhi, when did Delhi start acting against air pollution? In March 1995, the Supreme Court of India, while hearing a plea by environmentalist and lawyer MC Mehta about Delhi's polluting industries, noted that Delhi was world's fourth most polluted city. So way back in 1995, that means so much before, 2 decades before. So Supreme Court has categorically told that Delhi became world's fourth most polluted city in terms of concentration of suspended particulate matters SPM in the ambient atmosphere as per the World Health Organization 1989 report. The Supreme Court referred the WHO report on the ambient atmosphere and reported Delhi as the fourth most polluted city in the world way back in 1995 based on the report published by the World Health Organization in 1989. So concern was raised from that day onward. Fine. So the court took note of two polluting factors. So what are the two polluting factors in Delhi? So in 1995, identified by the court, one is the vehicles and second is the industries. Two major pollutants identified by the court way back in 1995. In 1996, the court ordered the closure and relocation of 1300 highly polluting industry from Delhi's residential area beyond the national capital region in a phased manner. The first target was set on the highly polluting industry, and the court ordered 1300 highly polluting industry from Delhi's residential area are to be shifted beyond the NCR in a phased manner. Fine. In 1996, Mr. Mehta filed another public interest litigation alleging that vehicular emission next after the industry was shifted, then the PIL was filed against vehicular emission were leading to air pollution and that it posed a public health hazard. What? The vehicular pollution posed a public health hazard. On this ground, a public interest litigation was filed in the Supreme Court again in 1996. In the same year, a report about Delhi's air pollution by the Center for Science and Environment (CSC) okay, made the apex court issue a notice to Delhi government to submit an action plan to curb pollution. The court has issued a notice to the Delhi government to submit an action plan. So what action it intend to take to check the pollution in the capital region. Okay, fine. That is after the PIL was filed against vehicular pollution leading to health hazard, and the Center for Science and Environment's report in the same manner. Okay, so this is what the judiciary intervened and order some steps. Both the matter later merged. Which one? Industry, automobiles, all these things are merged. Later that year, Delhi government submitted an action plan. The Supreme Court recognizing the need for technical assistance and advice in decision making and implementation of the order, asked the Ministry of Environment and Forest, the Central Ministry of Environment and Forest. Now it is named as the Environment, Forest and Climate Change Ministry, to establish an authority for Delhi, leading to the creation of the Environmental Pollution Control Authority of Delhi NCR. Okay, Environmental Pollution Control Authority of Delhi NCR. It was established by the court order to the then Minister of Environment and Forest, whose name has been changed to Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change at present. Earlier, the notice was issued only to the state government of Delhi. But looking at the gravity of the situation, the court has issued the same notice to the Union Ministry, the Central Ministry of Environment and Forest and Climate Change, to take tangible step. And that led to establishment of an authority known as the Environmental Pollution Control Authority of Delhi, NCR. Okay, but EPCA, which was established, the EPCA was established. Environmental Pollution Control Authority of Delhi, NCR, was established in 1998. Fine. To check steps to check the level of pollution in Delhi. Fine. The Environmental Pollution Control Authority of Delhi submitted its report containing a 2-year action plan. So that committee established, it submitted a report containing a 2-year action plan in June that year, and the Supreme Court subsequently ordered the Delhi Transport Corporation (DTC) bus fleet, taxi and autos to switch to CNG. And Delhi became a model for others because all the public transports were shifted from petrol, diesel to CNG. Fine, all public transport, and phasing out of all pre 1990 autos. The old autos are to be phased out, and the CNG autos and CNG transport vehicles, taxi, bus, autos, every public transport vehicle in Delhi should run on compressed natural gas (CNG), which is less polluting. Other measures between the late 1990s and early 2000s included the complete removal of leaded petrol. Earlier, there is lead in petrol. Removal of 15 and 17 years old commercial vehicles, and cap of 55,000 on the number of two-stroke engines auto rickshaws, which reports at the time said were contributing to 80% of the pollution in the city. The two-stroke engine auto rickshaw which are running in Delhi are completely banned. Okay, and coal-based power plants within Delhi were to be converted to gas-based one, because thermal power plants within Delhi were earlier coal-based. Normally in India, thermal plants are coal-based. So also the same situation was in Delhi, but after the authorities order, all the coal-based power plants in Delhi were shifted to gas-based. Fine. That is somehow the pollution level to be brought under control. Around the same time, the center decided to establish a network of monitoring stations under the National Air Quality Program. So, a new program was launched, which is named as the National Air Quality Program or Ambient Air Quality, to measure key pollutants under the National Ambient Air Quality Standards. This is what National Ambient Air Quality Standards. Okay, National Air Quality Program, and under the National Ambient Air Quality Standard, the air quality is to be monitored. specified by the Central Pollution Control Board (CPCB). Fine. Pollutants like PM10, particulate matters with a diameter exceeding 10 microns, sulfur dioxide, and nitrogen oxides are major at major points in the city, around the city. At many stations are established, monitoring stations are established to monitor the level of these pollutants in the atmosphere throughout the day and report it to know that what is the exact level of pollution, at what time the pollution level is high, and whether the steps taken to control the pollution are becoming effective or not. Fine. How was air quality standard revised? The National Ambient Air Quality Standard were revised in 2009 to include 12 category of pollutants. In 2009, this National Ambient Air Quality Standards were revised and 12 category of pollutants, including particulate matter 2.5, okay, and noxious pollutants which can penetrate deep into the lungs and even enter the bloodstream, resulting in cardiovascular and respiratory impacts that to be measured. Particulate matter is primarily generated by the fuel combustion from different sectors, including transport, energy, household, industry, and agriculture. This particulate matter or suspended particulate matter are the major source of pollution, okay, because they can enter to the lungs and further small matters can enter to the bloodstream, okay, and resulting in cardiovascular and respiratory impacts on human being in particular and all living beings in general, okay. And this is released from all the sectors, from like transport sector, energy, household, industry, and agriculture. Almost all these sectors are responsible for the release of this particulate suspended particulate matters, okay, which is the major source of pollution in Delhi. Fine. According to revised national air quality ambient air quality standard, the acceptable annual limit of particulate matter 2.5 is 40 microgram per cubic meter and 60 for PM10. The renewed WHO standards meanwhile prescribe an accepted annual average of 5 uh, for particulate matter 2.5 and 15 UG/MQ for PM10. While PM 2.5 as a pollutant was only included in 2009, a computer modeling study by urban emission Info analyze and plan India PM 2.5 concentration from 1990 to 2020 and found that Delhi was the most polluted of all states and union territory each year through all the 23 years. Delhi's annual particulate suspended matters 2.5 level increased by 40% from 80 gram per cubic meter to 111 gram per cubic meter. Okay, that means see how every year it is increasing and at what rapid rate it is increasing. Another study by the US-based Health Effects Institute released this year, studying data between 2010 and 2019, also found Delhi to the most polluted city in the world in terms of particulate suspended matter 2.5 levels. In this winter of 2016, Delhi witnessed one of its worst incident of pollution inducing smoke. Smog is what fog and smoke combined to become smog with particulate matter 2.5 and particulate matter 10 levels reaching a whopping 999 uh, UG square cubic meter in parts of Delhi in November 1. See the gravity and how this is growing, at what rate it is growing, and what hazards it is putting to the life. Subsequently, the Supreme Court in November 2016 told Delhi and the NCR authority to form a plan to deal with the air pollution, and the Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change in the early 2017 came out with the Graded Response Action Plan (GRAP). What? They came with the Graded Response Action Plan, which involved coordination between multiple agencies in Delhi to activate pollution control measures corresponding to the increasing air quality index level. Fine. What led to high pollution in Delhi? So multiple study over the years, including the Delhi Pollution Control Committee's 2019 report by IIT Delhi and Madras experts found that the rapid growth in Delhi's population. The most important factor is growth in population, industrialization and urbanization, and increasing in motorized private vehicles. Okay, so led to high concentration of air pollution such as particulate matter, nitrogenous oxide, sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, and ozone. So most important factor is pollution, rising pollution, pollution level increase, then rapid industrialization and urbanization, and increase in motorized private vehicles. Although all the public transport shifted to CNG, but the private vehicles runs on petrol and diesel. Okay, so that is a major cause of pollution in Delhi, as highlighted or located, or survey report says that these motorized private vehicles, so as their number has increased, they have also led to high level of pollution in Delhi, and that pollution such as particulate matter, nitrogen oxide, sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, and ozone, all these are the ultimate means end outcome of the population, industrialization, urbanization, and increase in motorized private vehicles number in the capital region. Fine, and all these are the all these led to the increasing level of pollution in Delhi. Fine. So, as this situation, because every year population is growing, every year number of vehicles is also growing. Fine. So this is, and every year industry in the capital region, it is also growing. Okay, so that is aggravating the situation year after year, and to this is added the concept of stubble burning. Fine, we'll discuss it separately. Over last few years, mechanized harvesting of the crops in the states adjoining Delhi and burning of those stubbles, because the mechanized harvesting led to huge amount of stubbles or agricultural residues being on the field, which the farmers find easy way out by burning, and that stubble burning is a major cause of increasing level of pollution and smog in Delhi. Okay, moving further, uh, let's check. Okay, so between 2001 and 2011, Delhi saw a population growth of 1.378 crore to 1.678 crore, 378 to 678. Okay, so that means, so 30 million people are added. As of 2011, the population of Delhi and the NCR are 2.5 million. So it's 3 millions are added. Okay, within the span of just 10 years. Okay, and 25.8 million or 77.6% of India's urban population, they live in Delhi. While Delhi's total area is 1,483 square kilometers, the population density grew from 9,340 person per square kilometer in 2001 to 11,320 person per square kilometer in 2011. So the density of population is the number of person living per square kilometers, and that has increased substantially over the last census period 2001 to 2011. Okay, so it has increased from 9,340 per square kilometer to 11,320. That means nearly 2,000 heads were added within a decade per square kilometer. Look at, even in some states, so the total density is not even 2,000. But in Delhi, the increased density is around 2000 person, additional 2000 person per square kilometers within 10 years, 2001 to 2011. Fine. Around 4.2 million motor vehicles registered in 2004 in Delhi alone. Registered vehicle increased to around 10.9 millions, from 4.2 millions to 10.9 millions by March 2018. Okay, within 14 years, so the number of vehicles is more than double. Okay, so 4.2 millions to 10.9 millions. Okay, so and after 2 more years, by 2022, this might have been added by another 2 millions. Fine. So this is the number of vehicles being added because in Delhi the living standard of people is much better. They are earning more, so they are just trying to have their own vehicles to reduce their dependence on public transport and for their own convenience, but that is causing the problem of pollution because vehicular pollution has emerged as a major polluting factor in increasing the pollution level in the in Delhi. Fine. Then what are the measures taken to tackle the major pollutions? Urban emission info combined officially available information and its modeling studies to infer that the sphere of vehicular exhaust contributing to Delhi's particulate suspended matter 2.5 pollution is up to 30%, while soil and road dust is up to 20%. Biomass burning is 20%, industry is up to 15%, diesel generators up to 10%, power plants up to 5%, and notably the share of pollution from outside Delhi's urban areas seat like the stubble burning in approved states is up to 30%. You see, 30% of the pollution in Delhi at present is the impact of the stubble burning that just we discussed. So some neighboring states they are burning with the residues in the post-harvest period. That pollution is entering Delhi, and that is why the situation in Delhi is being aggravated day by day and year after year. Fine. Knowing the contribution of different pollutants, so what the measures have been taken by the government? Multiple researchers have alleged that the policy approach and measures taken by the center and the state authority for specific polluting sectors over the years have been fragmented and often reactive. IIT Bombay professor Binish Kathuria noted in the Economic and Political Weekly that 2002 public transport overall to CNG did not yield the desired result. While the SPM and PM10 level fell marginally, carbon monoxide level increased. Meanwhile, due to the Supreme Court's 55,000 cap on two-stroke auto rickshaw, the sector could not grow, leading to black marketing of permits. Studies note that between 1997 and 2011, Delhi's population grew by 45%, and registered car and two-wheelers grew by 250%, meaning the lower availability of autos could have likely contributed to increased private vehicle ownership. Okay, lower availability of auto because if the public transport system is easily available, people might have preferred it than having their own vehicles to go to work or for other purposes. But because the public transport system was not readily available, was not convenient, was not as per the requirement of the people, so they decided to go for purchasing private vehicles. Fine, both two and four wheelers. Okay, so that's why the government is always emphasizing on developing a robust public transport system. So which will disarmament. Fine. Okay. So this is the reason behind this. Okay. Besides, Delhi still does not have the required public bus fleet vis-a-vis demand. Researchers have also noted challenges with newer policy like the odd even vehicle for rationing rule applying only to private vehicles. So Delhi government few years back launched the odd even model of transport for the private vehicles. The private vehicle owners are given the option to drive on 3 days. So some vehicles on some okay some odd numbers on specific day and even number on specific day. That means so all the vehicles are not to run on the road every day. So the odd numbers will be allowed to run on some day and the even numbers on three other days. Right. So that is what. So this is a very unique step taken by the government, that the introduction of the odd even number. Okay. Fine. Besides, Delhi still does not have the required public bus speed which demand. Researchers have also noted challenges with newer policy like the odd even vehicle rationing rules applying only to private vehicles. A study by the IIT Delhi, Rahul Goel noted that although vehicle emission contribute to 25% of Delhi's PM 2.5 level, passenger vehicles contribute to just 8%, of which car constitute hardly 5%. Thus, this means that if all passenger vehicles within Delhi stop operating, SPM and level 2.5 level would reduce by an average 8%. But the remaining 17% contributed by the heavy freight vehicles could remain as it is not covered under the odd even vehicles. Fine. Experts also point out that a coordinated response factoring in Delhi's waste management has to be taken into reduce air pollution. Fine. So committee, expert committee, and advisory bodies, they have given different options for how to check this or bring this pollution under control in Delhi. Okay. And government of the state government of Delhi and the central government in coordination with it is trying to formulate new models or new parameters to bring this issue under control. Fine. A coordinated response factoring in Delhi's waste management has to be taken to reduce air pollution. Fine. That is also highlighted by the. Okay, while the Delhi waste generation rate in Delhi is over 10,000 tons, the capacity of its already overflowing landfills to collect and manage garbage is under 6,000 tons. 10,000 tons garbage generated, and the landfills have the capacity to absorb only 6,000 tons. This lead to practice of burning waste around residential area. Reports show that garbage is also burned illegally in the landfills when curbs are in place. As for the burning of farm residue and stubble in Delhi's neighboring states like Haryana, Punjab, UP, Rajasthan, researchers have emphasized the need for airshed management along with improved machinery subsidies from the government in order to crop burning. Government must provide the alternative to crop burning, and if the farmers can realize that, so not burning but by selling it or using it different way, it can have its own monetary value. So they will not try to burn the agricultural residues, okay, in the form of stubble burning. Rather, they will try to use it for specific generation of economy or for specific economic or energy generation activity, and this should be taken very proactively. Right. Then an air shed is a common geographic area where pollutant get trapped. One major argument for the failure to tackle this pollution problem is that a large proportion of these pollution sources are present all year round, and high pollution level are mainly witnessed in the winter months due to the unfavorable meteorological conditions, meaning stopgap and seasonal measures often yield unsatisfactory outcomes. So throughout the year, there is the possibility of the waste is being generated, but on specific winter, this situation becoming aggravated because of the natural factors. Okay, so that the wind pattern, the time of harvesting, so that led to stubble burning, the fog that led these pollutants to be in the atmosphere for a longer period. All these are the factors responsible for this issue. Then we'll take the next topic, very interesting. India's first private satellite vehicle set for launch. Okay, till date, so ISRO is India's government of India's only space agency, and ISRO has its own launch pad from where it launches vehicles, like the Satish Dhawan Space Center at Sriharikota in Andhra Pradesh, from where most of the satellites are launched, and the Vikramasarabhai Space Center at Tumba, so where from also rockets are tested. Okay, but most of the Indian satellites are launched from the Satish Dhawan Space Center, Sriharikota in Andhra Pradesh. Fine. But for the first time, so the government has permitted the private sector, okay, to venture into the space domain. Fine. So, an Hyderabad-based Skyroot Aerospace. Okay. So, remember this, very important in the exam point of view. For the first time, a space which was earlier a government monopoly, government allowed private sector, and a Hyderabad-based company called Skyroot Aerospace. Remember this, what the name? Name means Hyderabad-based Skyroot Aerospace. It's called it launching its mission. Its launch vehicle Prarambha at the beginning, and will carry two Indian and one foreign customer payloads on the launch vehicle named Vikram. It has developed a launch vehicle called Vikram in the name of Vikrama Sarabhai. Okay, the famous space scientist of India. Okay, in whose name government established the Vikram Sarabhai Space Center at uh, that Tumba. Okay, so from where rocket are tested, and the second launch pad is at the Satish Dhawan Space Center, Sriharikota in Andhra Pradesh. Fine. So the Skyroot Aerospace has developed a launch vehicle called Bikram, and through using Bikram launch vehicle, it has the plan to start its space launching activity called Prarambha program, under which it will launch three satellites, two Indian satellites and one foreign satellites or payloads to the orbit. Vikrama's successful launch will make a big step for India's space exploration sector. In fact, Skyroot on its web claim, launching satellite to space will soon become as easy as booking a cab, quick, precise and affordable. So there is this private company called Skyroot plan to provide for small satellite launch vehicles and export to the Indian space market, because the space market is growing more and more. Earlier, space was a complete government domain, and government dominated, and government only launched satellites for its own requirement, like telecommunication, weather forecasting, meteorology, and other services. But right now, so more and more private companies are using these satellite transponders and satellites for their own specific purposes, like banks, other companies. Okay, most of them are having their own satellite, so they can run their program without dependence on the transponders that they have to take on lease or on rent from the other agencies. So makes one more and more private companies, they are trying to have their own satellite, okay, to fulfill their own requirement. Okay, so the Skyroot plan to make this satellite launching a cost-effective, a quick, and precise program. These companies can think of having their own satellite than taking the transponder from the government satellites on rent. Fine. This is what, and the survey says the emerging space sector. What the survey says? Check the next point. Prarambha will see Vikram as carry three customer satellites in a suborbital flight. Suborbital flight, like the one undertaken by the Jeb Wedge and Richard Branson, travel slower than orbital velocity. They are fast enough to reach outer space, but not fast enough to stay in the orbit around the Earth. Also, SpaceKit, a Chennai-based aerospace startup, will fly the FunSat, a 2.5 kg payload developed by the student from India, the US, Singapore, and Indonesia on Vikrama S, the only foreign satellite to be launched by the Vikram S. Fine. Then Vikrama's future and their features, as reported by the PTI, Press Trust of India, Skyroot was the first startup to sign a memorandum of understanding with ISRO for launching its rockets. The launch vehicle have been crafted especially for the small satellite market and named as Vikram as a tribute to Vikrama Sarabhai, founder of the Indian space program. They come in three forms: Vikrama 1, Vikrama 2, and Vikrama 3. Okay, this private satellite, so private launch vehicle are three different versions, right? According to the Skyroot, more than 2,000 small satellites are estimated to be launched in the coming decades. So, it has a big prospect. 20,000 satellites will be launched in the coming decade. This proves the emerging space market or satellite market around the world, and very few countries have the capability to launch satellites. And if India can get the support of the private sector in the space launching, India can be an cheaper and credible space launching country where many countries will be standing in queue to launch their satellites. Okay, so according to Skyroot, more than 20,000 small satellites are expected to be launched in the coming decade, and Vikram's reach is designed to enhance this through unprecedented mass productivity and affordability. The landing technology architecture of Vikram vehicle offer unique capability like okay, so must orbit insertion, interplanetary mission, while providing customized, dedicated, and ride share options covering a wide spectrum of small satellite customers' needs. So this that the Vikrama satellite or the Vikrama launch vehicle will launch satellite as per the customer's requirement, and because different customers have different requirement, different types of satellites, so that will be easier for them to launch using this low cost launch vehicle called Vikrama. Skyroot claim a Vikrama rocket can be assembled and launched within 24 hours from any launch site and has the lowest cost in the payload segment. Okay, this private company has declared that its own launch facility will be provided at a much cheaper cost in comparison to the similar facility being provided by other country. Okay, as reported earlier by the Indian Express, for a very long time, small satellites, anything weighing between 5 to 1000 kg, has to remain content with hitching a reed to space on rockets commissioned by to carry some other lateral satellite. Normally, what happens is these small satellites are just added to the major launch, but at present, with the smart satellite launch vehicle being developed, so the focus will be on especially or dedicatedly launching the small satellites, okay, in low orbit. That can be possible because of there are three advantages. First is it is very easy and convenient to assemble. It takes very less time to assemble, and every week there can be launching. Okay, and most important factor is the cost effectiveness. This is too cheap. Okay, that normally the nations who don't have their own space program till date may think of having their own program by using this launch facility being developed by a private company in India. Fine. That is what is the advantages of the small satellite launch vehicle. Even ISRO has recently tested the small satellite launch vehicle with partial success because it was it reached the orbit, but not at the exact orbit which has been demarcated for it. But in future tests, so ISRO is trying to bring accuracy to the test. Okay, fine. Then moving further, the timeline of the launch could be dictated by this larger primary satellite whose interest could take precedence with more and more business, government agency, even university and laboratories uh, beginning to send satellites. Nearly all of the then falling in this category of small satellites. So all the entities right now are trying for their own satellites, and the small satellites and these satellites belong to the small satellite category, and their launch will be much more right now. Okay. uh, Nearly all of them forming in this category of small satellites. To space, the constraint of a piggyback ride half satellite to Earth. Fine. So, because with a main satellite, some satellites are piggyback, but with a small satellite launch vehicle, this piggyback concept will be phased out and they will be launched, especially carrying those small satellites at short notice. Fine. The demand for the launch of small satellites has increased a rapid pace in the last 8 to 10 years, thanks to the ever growing need for space-based data, communication, surveillance, and commerce. Okay, the need for satellite data, imagery, and space technology now cut a carrier sector from weather to agriculture to transport to urban development. In ISRO, in India, ISRO is capable of launching satellite into space, and the demand for fast overrunning its capacity, especially the space agency also have other higher goals or targets which need to be fulfilled, needs to focus on. Therefore, the sector is being opened up for private players with the first with ISRO providing helping them with facility and knowledge. Okay, so ISRO will provide the facility because it's very difficult to provide the launch pad. They have this new space company, the private space company, has developed its launch vehicles, but it has not developed the launch pad from where the satellite will be launched. So they will take the by agreement from both the sides. ISRO will provide its the test sites for testing of the uh, rockets that has been developed and will be developed by the private space agency in country. Right. And moving further, you can see about the UN Human Rights Council. Recently, this UN Human Rights Council, which is a concerned body of United Nations, was in news. Fine. It is an intergovernmental body within the United Nations system. Okay. So United Nations are its member, but United Nations members are its members. It is an intergovernmental body. The United Nations Human Rights Council. It was earlier known as United Nations Human Rights Commission, but it has changed to council. Fine. So replace the former UN Commission on Human Rights. It was created by the United Nations General Assembly on March 15, 2006, and the body met in its first session in June 2006. The year it was founded, the same year, so its meeting took place. It consists of the member states of the United Nations, not all, but elected members from among the UN members. Right. The council is made up of 47 UN member states who are elected by majority vote through a direct and secret ballot at the United Nations General Assembly. The membership of the council is based on equitable geographical distribution. That means most of the geographical regions in the world must get proper representation at the United Nations Human Rights Council, because this is being done informally, beyond the keeping the event agenda in view, but not directly making it supervise it. Fine. So it is responsible for strengthening the promotion of and protection of human rights around the world. It also addresses the and mark recommendation on situation of human rights violation. Membership of the council is made up of 47 UN member states, means country, who are elected by the majority vote through a direct and secret ballot at the United Nations General Assembly. The membership of the council is based on equitable geographical distribution. Fine. And for that, what model they follow? You see, American South Asia states have 13 seats, Latin America and Caribbean states have 8 seats, Western Europe and other states have 7 seats, Eastern Europe and the states have 6 seats. The members serve for 3 years and are not eligible for immediate re-election after the serving 2 consecutive terms. Fine. So one member can be after being elected to the United Nations Human Rights Council can serve for so 3 years, and okay, and there is a possibility of no the develop that non permission for its regular session is a big concern. Almost two-thirds of the UN human rights income comes from voluntary contribution from the member states and other donors. The recommend the reminder be converted by the UN General Assembly. Fine. So human rights. This is what how this they are elected. So they are elected in the geographical area. 13 from Africa and Asia Pacific region, 8 from Latin America and Caribbean countries, 7 from Western Europe and other states. Eastern Europe has 6 states, and some other remain the discretionary power of the president and the board. They can do the marks. So at the end of the members serve for 3 years and are not eligible for immediate re-election after serving 2 consecutive years. One member elected can serve for 2 consecutive years. That means 3 years, 3 years, 6 years. So within that, so for the third, he cannot be made itself eligible to contest for the third consecutive term. Fine. Only they can contest for 2 consecutive terms. Almost third of the UN human rights income comes from voluntary contribution from the member states and other donors. The remainder is covered by the UN's regular budget. Fine. So any agency to work or to function properly needs funding, and this is where there is a need of fund by the United Nations Human Rights Council, and for that purpose, so so member country contribute, they collect donations on charitable organizations and vulnerable people, and that is what so is a major source of their income, because they always justify that they are working for the human rights. So they have a global sympathy for them, and capitalizing on that, they are able to gather the resources for carrying on their activities. Right. So next, next is very unique. The Pasmina shell, very demanded, which made India very popular, because this type of shell is very unique, and India being a manufacturer and exporter of this shell, so it gives uniqueness to this Indian product. Traders of universally prized uh, Pasmina shell are complaining that obsolete testing methods have resulted in many of their export consignment being flagged by the custom authority for presence of the Sahatos gourd hair, which is obtained from the endangered Tibetan antelopes. Okay, before being exported, that needs custom clearance, and the obsolete machinery being used at the custom point make it difficult for the exporters to properly rate or identify their products, and on allegation of containing the okay that the satos, okay, it is prohibited. Satos being an endangered species. The trader claimed the use of obsolete techniques such as the light microscopy by the authority have resulted in several cases of false positives, leading to their wrongful prosecution. Pashmina is obtained from a breed of mountain goats, Capra uh, hircus, found on the Changtang Plateau, the Tibet, and part of Ladakh. Manufacture of Pashmina is a largely an unorganized cottage and handicraft industry, providing employment and livelihood to approximately 6 lakh people, most notably to local skilled villagers and artisans in Kashmir. Okay, and this has its own reputation globally, the most change after item. India contributes only about 1% of the total world's Pashmina, but the Pashmina produced in India is considered the best in the world. Okay, best of the lots. Okay, that is why there is growing demand for this particular Indian product. Sahatos, on the other hand, is the fine undercut fiber obtained from the Tibetan antelope, known locally as chiru, especially having mainly in the northern part of the Chentang Plateau in Tibet. As they offer high level of smoothness and warmth, Sato shell is a highly expensive commodity. However, when their population declined dramatically from commercial poaching, the conservation of international trade in endangered species of wildlife, fauna and flora listed the Tibetan antelopes in 1979 as endangered, leading to ban on sale and trading Sato shell and scabs because that animal became endangered. As per the sites or the convention on international trade in endangered species. Okay, so it has listed this, so putting a ban on the trade of this particular item. So the next news is about the new Chief Justice of India, Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, takes charge as the 50th Chief Justice of India. Justice Dhananjaya Jaswant Chandrachud was sworn in as the 50th Chief Justice of India by President Draupadi Murmu at a brief ceremony at the Rashtrapati Bhavan in New Delhi this week. He took the oath in English and in the name of God, the presence of Vice President and the Rajya Sabha Chairperson, okay, Jagdeep Dhankar, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, Home Minister Amit Shah, and Law Minister Kiran Rijiju. Justice Chandrachud, as Chief Justice of India, will have a term of 2 years and will head India's judiciary until November 10th, 2024. So, in the recent past, so many Chief Justices have very small tenure, but Justice Chandrachud will find a significant a long tenure in comparison to his recent uh, predecessors. Fine. This Chandrachud as CJ will have a term of 2 years and will head India's judiciary until November 10th, 2024, a day before he completes 65. His father, Justice Y.B. Chandrachud, hold the distinction of being the longest serving Chief Justice of India who headed the judiciary from 78 to 85. So nearly for 7 years. Fine. So he was the Chief Justice. And the audition after a long period, so succeeded to the father's throne. Okay. Like the father was the Chief Justice and the only son of the only father, again Justice Chandrachud became the Chief Justice of India. Fine. This is what is very uniqueness. Okay. In Indian highest judiciary. So coming to the contribution of Justice Chandrachud, he has been part of several constitutional bench and landmark verdicts of the top court, including judgment on the Ayodhya land dispute and the right to privacy. He wrote the lead judgment of the nine-judge bench in the Justice case Puttaswamy vs. Union of India case, in which it was unanimously held that the right to privacy was a fundamental right. Recently, a bench headed by him expanded the scope of the Medical Termination Pregnancy Act to include unmarried women for abortion between 20 to 25 weeks of pregnancy. The new Chief Justice has been part of the bench that delivered path-breaking judgment on decriminalizing same-sex relation after it partially struck down Section 377 of the Indian Penal Code. He has been part of the bench that ruled on the validity of Aadhaar scheme and the Sabarimala issue and paved the way for permanent commission of women officers in the armed forces. So this just establishes his expertise and his sense of public concern on important issue for which under him So many historic judgments were delivered by the Supreme Court of India, where he was one among the member in the specific benches. Fine. He was designated as a senior advocate by the Bombay High Court in June 1998 and became additional Solicitor General that year till his appointment as a judge in the Bombay High Court in 2000. Went to become the Chief Justice of the Allahabad High Court on October 2013 until he was elevated to top court in May 2016, and recently he became the 50th Chief Justice of India. Right? Justice Vabi Chandrachud. So here the context: Commerce Ministry says changes introduced for granting export benefits and incentives as well as fulfillment of export obligation norm for importers for export realization made in Indian rupee. The government has expanded the norms for incentives and export obligations under the foreign trade policy to cover foreign trade transactions settled in rupee. The Commerce Ministry should make foreign trade transactions to be settled in Indian rupee, then depending on the foreign currency. In July, the RBI and the Director General of Foreign Trade has carried out amendment in the foreign trade policy and trade settlement procedures to enable the use of rupee in invoicing, payment and settlement of export-import dues. The ministry said that changes have not only introduced for granting export benefits and incentive as well as fulfillment of export obligation norms for importers for export realization made in Indian rupee. Right. Given the rise in interest in Indian internationalization of Indian rupee, the policy amendment have been undertaken to facilitate and to bring ease in international trade transactions in Indian rupee. The ministry said in a statement. Engineering Export Promotion Council of India Chairman Arun Kumar Garudia said, allowing trade settlement in the rupee under the various export promotion scheme should help boost exports and signals internationalization of the domestic currency. These are early steps towards 100% convertibility of the Indian rupee. Right. But Indian rupee is not yet fully convertible. It is only convertible on the current account. But as Indian economy is growing, government has the target to make Indian rupee fully convertible. You can say this is one step in that direction to make Indian rupee fully convertible in future. Okay, government is taking such measures which will result in making the rupee fully convertible in future. Then about the subjective answer writing, have to understand about the term metaverse. So metaverse is being used right now in the communication world, in the internet world. Right? Highlight its applications and challenges arising out of such applications. The new tech world is always full of jargons and buzzwords. One such buzzword is metaverse. A platform for augmented reality called Metaverse enables users to build interactive experience that combine the virtual and the real world. Additionally, it can be considered a virtual version of the concept of idea of cyberspace. We have cyberspace is the fifth domain in that land, air, water, space, outer space, and cyberspace. Fine. These are a number of interacting used access and applications from Metaverse. Banking and finance. Banks and other financial institutions like Metaverse utilize Metaverse to improve customer service, cut expenses, and streamline process. For example, KYC can be conducted through a metaverse platform. Know your customer fulfillment can be done utilizing this metaverse platform. Healthcare, for example, the use of metaverse technology can help in solving the problem of locating a vein in healthcare. Okay. Metaverse has the potential to unleash a revolution in the business communication and productivity space. For example, a full-blown hologram of a person will sit in front of you, interact and communicate with you as a real person does. That is what corporate sector can go for this conferencing, meeting, etc. Right? Imagine virtual hoardings and billboards on virtual highways and expressway that are being seen by millions of users or avatar in real time. Marketing can be facilitated using metaverse. Defense. Metaverse could empower country to create a highly realistic virtual world that could better prepare defense personnel for challenging scenario. Okay, that is what the pandemic undoubtedly resulted in loss and setback of the for the travel and tourism industry, but the potential of virtual travel could lead to emergence of brand new tourist niche. Okay, without physically traveling, so they can travel virtual. This is also becoming a reality right now. If metaverse will be used, this can also be a possibility. Fine. This is what the use of this metaverse. In education, the metaverse is a media-rich setting that can serve as a hub for education. For example, students and teachers may connect in the digital world regardless of whether they are in the physical world or not. Gaming games that use the metaverse provide players with a more realistic and immersive gaming experience. Definitely, metaverse is promising, but like any other technology, it comes with its own set of challenges. The technical challenges: signing up data across boundary for processing can pose a threat to national security, as the metaverse can use as a platform for recruitment of terrorist groups. That is possible. Right now, terrorist groups are using technology to add numbers to their cadre. How this metaverse can be used by the terrorist group for recruitment. Cybersecurity design weakness in software need to be addressed and system need to be properly tested. For example, by hacking VR headgears or glasses, hackers can steal personal information using metaverse. Interoperability. Interoperability remains one of the most important challenge. In the early days of the metaverse, we will probably have several metaverse with little or no interoperability. And regular challenge, privacy. There are concerns about potential violation of the privacy of the meta users and mechanism to deal with them. For example, how the right to be forgotten covered under Article 21 would be upheld in a big concern. So, technology need to be implemented to test them, their reliability, their accuracy, and the upcoming challenges in them. They can only be evaluated after being implemented. Without being implemented, it is too difficult to judge whether it is possible or not. On this count, so these are the challenges. Okay, privacy is the major casualty. Right. Then coming to the intellectual property rights, violation will be there. New challenge for intellectual property rights will arise with the metaverse. For example, NFT can raise legal concerns over intellectual property ownership and rights. Then regulatory structure. India is largely unoccupied to deal with the issue arising from the use of metaverse technology in the absence of data protection law, because we in India don't have any data protection law passed by the parliament like other countries. So this can open the Pandora box for us for loss of the privacy of the data, electricity uses, identity issues. All these are associated challenges of the metaverse. Then think of the MCQs or the MCQ. The first one, in the judicial appointment, it is obligatory for the president to take into account the opinion of the CGI. President must consult the CGI before appointing. The opinion of the CGI is binding on the government. The opinion of the CGI must be formed after due consultation with the collegium, but it is two senior members, no, it is four. So here the right answer is 1 and 2. Collegium consists of 4 members headed by the Chief Justice of India. So not 2 but 4. So 1 and 2 are correct. Then question number 2. What is the size range of the respirable suspended particulate matter? Okay. So it is less than 10 microns. Okay. Micrometer. Answer is B. Then question number 3. In the following statement, the Human Rights Council or even Human Council is the intergovernmental body within the United Nations responsible for strengthening and promoting and protecting human rights worldwide. Okay. So currently the United Nations Human Rights Council has 47 members. So which is incorrect? So 2 is incorrect. So this has the Human Rights Council. Okay. As we have discussed. Okay. So it is to ensure global exploitation, the entire world seats are allocated on biannual basis. No, 3 years. So 2 is wrong. Only 1 is. So which are incorrect? 2 is incorrect. So answer will be B because 2 is incorrect. And then 4. The foreign trade policy is a legal document issued by the government of India enforceable under the Foreign Trade Development and Regulation Act 1992. The prime objective of foreign trade policy is to facilitate trade by reducing transaction and transit cost and time. Okay. So both are correct for question number 4. Answer will be C. Then question 5. The following statement regarding the India's first privately developed rocket Vikram-S developed by the Hyderabad-based Skyroot Aerospace. Correct. The mission named Prathama, the Prarambha, since it is the first mission for Skyroot. The Vikrama series named after the founder of Indian Space Program, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, are called fiber structure that can launch up to 800 kg of payloads to the low Earth orbit. So all the 3 are correct. Answer is D. Then question number 6. The Directorate of Handicrafts and Handloom, Kashmir has announced a minimum support price of the regular indication certified handmade Pashmina shawls to sustain the old techniques. The Pashmina is known world over as Cashmere wools. It comes from a special goat, Capra hircus, living in altitude 12,000 to 14,000 feet. It also comes from a rare antelope living in Tibetan, highest over 14,000 feet in the wild Himalayas. Fine. All the 3 are correct. So answer is D. This is the following statement which is the Global Hunger Index, jointly published by Concerned Worldwide and World Hunger Line. Correct. A low score in the index reflects higher ranking of a country and implies a better performance. Right. That is also correct. India ranks significantly improved, decreased. India rank 1/10th, so it is also incorrect. So only 1 and 2 are correct. So answer will be A for question number 7. Then to 8. Recently, economically weaker section quota has been in news. Consider the following statement. It has been brought into the force by the 104 constitutional amendment. This is incorrect. It violates the basic structure document not in line with the Indira Sahani judgment. This is incorrect. It has amended Article 15 of the Indian Constitution. That is correct. So only 3 is correct for question number 8. Then question number 9. It is regarding Satos fiber, Satos wool as it is called. Obtained from Pasima Ghats and Chanthan Plateau. Manufacture Pasima is a largely unorganized cottage and handicraft industry, providing employment and livelihood to local skilled villages and artisans in Kashmir. Okay, so one is incorrect, only two is correct. Answer is B. And the last one, Central Pollution Control Board. It is a statutory body in the Ministry of Environment, and Climate Change. CPC head office in Delhi, not in Bhopal. So only one is correct. The answer is A. So friends, keep on watching our regular news regularly to update yourself on most of the developments for your different examinations, fine, and enrich yourself on a day-to-day basis, because we are discussing with your important questions, the topics, the answer writing pattern, subjective one, and with the MCQ, so catering to the needs of almost all the exams that you are supposed to face in your preparation. So keep on watching